I'm Sarah, the US Podcast Ambassador for Ausha, the all-in-one podcast marketing and hosting platform. Our goal at Ausha is to help podcasters grow their podcasts, and for that, we are always developing new tools. If you want to check it out, we have a free 15-day trial below. Just click on the link down there. In today's video, I'm going to talk to you about SEO, search engine optimization, and I'm going to give you 4 tips to get your podcast to appear at the top of the Google search results. Welcome to Tips. SEO stands for what? Search Engine Optimization! And it is the art of optimizing content through keywords, whether in an article, a podcast, or a blog for search engines. But don't worry, with even the basics, you too can have a little SEO magic in your life. I cannot stress enough how important descriptions are for your podcast. Often, it's the part that we do at the very last minute, and it's just one step we're trying to get out of the way to publish our podcast. Like, oh God, a description? I don't know, a super cool podcast. Send, done, uploaded, phew. Because a description is one more chance to turn a potential listener into a loyal fan. You have 4,000 characters at your disposal, so use it to convince a future listener to tune in and to optimize the SEO of your podcast by using as many keywords as possible. Whether for the description of your show or the description for your podcast episode, the technique remains the same. Think of the SEO! Think of the keywords! The goal is to get the Google robots to understand what your show is about, to offer it as a potential search result on the Google website. So be thoughtful about your description. It's one thing to write good descriptions, and it's another to write good titles and optimize those as well. Unless you know the exact name of the show you're looking for, oftentimes people, when they go into their podcast application, are just gonna write a couple keywords of the type of show they're looking for. Paris history, et voila. And might I recommend Pan Am Podcast is an amazing Paris history podcast. And these are the very keywords or phrases that you should try to anticipate. And once you've identified them, make sure you've integrated them into your descriptions and your episode titles. When we first launched our podcast at Ausha, we just called it Tips. Just Tips. It's cute, it's classy, it's simple, but it's not super clear. So after a few months, we changed the title from Just Tips to Tips, How to Grow Your Podcast. So now when someone types in how to start a podcast in a search engine, our show comes up. That's a good tip. And by the way, do not use any puns in the title of your show. Yes, you are so smart to think of that, and I applaud you for it. But guess what? Do you know who's not smart? The Google robots. It's not that they're not smart, they just don't get puns. They're not very funny. They're not very punny, if you will. Basically, puns are very confusing for the Google bots and keyword searches, so keep them for your comedy show. Let's move on to tags. You may already know them for YouTube videos, and you probably are aware they exist for podcasts as well. Tags allow you to categorize your show and your episodes to one or more themes. Essentially, your tags are your keywords. So when you have tags associated with your podcast, when a new listener goes into a search engine and is looking for a podcast, your podcast has more chances to be at the top of the results. And you can choose these tags when you upload an episode to your host. They will automatically be included in your RSS feed and thus distributed to all of the podcast platforms. With a host like Ausha, for example, you can have up to 20 tags. Thank you, Ausha. One last thing, and it's certainly the most important thing, is make sure your podcast also has written content. Google is making great strides in natural language analysis, but it is far from perfect. Frankly, just look at the automatic subtitles on YouTube. Yikes. So the best thing you can do about it is to create a website or even a blog to accompany your podcast. And by hosting your podcast with Ausha, you will automatically have a website created for you with all of your episodes, all of your descriptions, and all of your keywords. And as a result, you will be able to go up much higher in the Google search results. Thank you again, Ausha. To go even further to make your podcast grow, you can visit our website at ausha.co. And there you can discover all of the tools that we've created to make podcasters' lives easier. And that's it. If you like this video, please do hit that like button so other people can find it. And don't forget to subscribe so you can find out some more tips. Thank you so much. See you next time. Bye.